Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Officer Cake here. Today, I'll be going over my duty vest, running over all the different stuff I have on here, why I have it there, and some tips and tricks for you to consider when you're setting up your vest. So just for some context, I'm active law enforcement. This is my duty vest. So this is set up with the application of law enforcement in mind. If you're law enforcement, great. I'll go over what I have, why I have it set up the way I have it, and you can decide if you like it, you don't like it, whatever it may be. So to start out, this is a Velocity Systems Scarab plate carrier. I've done a lot of modifications to it, but overall, the plate carrier works great. I haven't had any major issues with it. I got it probably 3 years ago at this point, and it's holding up great. Starting off at the top, I actually changed out the shoulder pads that come with it. The shoulder pads work good from the stock setup, but when you start putting heavy plates in here and all this stuff on the front, it can get kind of heavy, and the shoulder pads that come on it don't really help distribute that weight at all. So these are shoulder pads from ASL. They just velcro over the top like a taco sort of, and they actually have a piece of, I don't know if it's plastic or what in here, but they have a piece of plastic that runs through the bottom of the shoulder pad, and it helps distribute the weight across your shoulders, which makes it so much more comfortable. And then obviously they have padding under that, so it's not hard plastic digging into your shoulders. So those have been great, no issues with those. They allow you to run cables through them either internally, or they have some cutouts with like elastic down the sides of them. You can run stuff that way, however you prefer. But obviously I have my speaker mic here. I have it off my left shoulder, and that's for a very specific purpose. I'm a right-handed shooter, obviously, so that means my rifle stock will go into my right shoulder when I'm running a rifle. So I noticed when I had my speaker mic on my right shoulder, it would interfere with my shoulder weld of my rifle and just make it more difficult to get up on the gun quick if I had to. So I switched it over here to the left side for that specific reason. If you're a left-handed shooter, you'd probably prefer to run it on your right shoulder. But just a little tip there. On this side, the front of the carrier, I have a 09 Holsters BWC holster. This is for the new Motorola BWC that they have, and it just mollies onto the front here with their molly locks, which you select when you purchase it. So no issues with this thing. It just holds the BWC in there with friction, but I've never had one fall out, and I've never had the mount actually break on me. And I've had it for probably 2.5, 3 years now, so pretty much for almost the entirety of the life of this vest. Working down from there, in the little kangaroo pouch of the vest itself, I keep my handcuff key right here, and then I have a pair of shears, which looks like they get blocked by the BWC mount, but I can actually just pull them out that way. They're actually smaller. They're the small shears from North American Rescue. They aren't full size, but they work just the same, and they fit the vest perfectly. And then the main part of the whole vest is this one big piece across the front here. This is the defense mechanisms placard system. So it doesn't really have another name besides that because it's all modular. You can change this to however you want, but it's the large Velcro back plate, and then I have these specific inserts selected, so I customize it how I want. And then off to the left side, I have spare mag, which I use for a quote-unquote tap reload. If you don't know what a tap reload is, basically when your gun still has ammo in it, but maybe you just got into engagement and you want to top up before you continue doing whatever you have to do. And so you'll tap reload in order to feed the gun, make sure it's full, and then get it back up and running. So that's specifically what this is for. Otherwise, it's an oh shit mag. You know, if I've gone through everything else, I have this one here. And then from there, I've got my flashlight on the left side. That's just where I prefer it to be. The only thing about this whole setup that I think is really important for pretty much everybody to have is have a tourniquet here on, it doesn't have to be on your vest, but either on your belt or on your vest on the center line of your body. And that's simply just to make sure you can access it with both hands. The last thing you want to have happen is you get shot in, let's say your left arm, or yeah, your left arm, your tourniquet's on your left side and you can't get to it because your vest and everything else is blocking that. So making sure to have one tourniquet on the center line that you can access with both hands could definitely save your life. And that's coming from not my own real world experience, but seeing another officer's experience that that happened to. I also like to have at least one pair of handcuffs on the center line of my vest as well, for the same reason. You can access it with both hands. You aren't having to reach behind you to get it off the back of your belt. You know, a situation like that, like you're on the ground wrestling with somebody, you probably aren't going to be able to take your hand off of them and reach around to your back to get to your handcuffs. So having at least one pair on the front of your body, on the center line, is a big must in my opinion. And then off to the far right side is just a simple note pouch. I keep one notepad, and then I have like a Miranda card in there. And then off to the side I have a Sharpie, and then a pen off that side. All in all, I've had the defense mechanisms placard for probably about 1.5 years, and it's been fine. Usually I'll run an identifier patch here, but I took that off because I don't want to have my name out there and I don't want to have my department out there. So usually a ID patch from Pouch Panel goes right here, and then I have one on the back as well, which I've taken off, but that goes there. And all in all, it's been working super good. Nothing too special on the back of the vest. Again, like I said, I have the patch panel placard right here usually to identify myself as police. And then the only thing for the back of the vest that I would say is super important is a piece of kit I love. It's the Ferro Concepts Roll 1. This is a medical pouch, and it sits just at the base of the vest here. And when you actually have the vest on, again, I'll show you when I put it on, but it sits right above your belt line. So what it actually ends up doing, if you have, you know, I think these are 1-inch thick plates in here, what it ends up doing is it fills in that gap between your vest and your belt, and it actually gives you lumbar support. And then obviously you have the medical equipment in here. Pull this out really quick. Show you what I have inside here. This stays on me at all times. Inside here, I have just another tourniquet, so I have 2 on me at all times. I have a pressure bandage, combat gauze, gloves, and then in the back part of it here is a twin pack of hyphen chest seals. So, you know, hopefully you never have to use this stuff, but when you need to use it, it's good to have it on you, and it's good to have it in a place that is easily accessible by both hands, and it's also out of the way. This thing honestly provides more comfort compared to a belt-mounted medical pack, and it stays out of the way, and it's super easy to access with both hands. Now obviously if you had a shoulder problem in the past, maybe it's hard to reach behind you like this, you can also mount it in the front of the carrier. Just keep note, it could interfere with whatever you have on the front of your belt. So just some considerations to think about when you're setting this stuff up. All right, so we've got the vest on now. Another thing I'll point out about the vest that I didn't talk about over on the bench is that there's actually some flets in the cummerbund on the Velocity Systems vest. A lot of vests have that now, but it's something that, in my opinion, is fairly crucial to your vest setup, is having the stretch for when you need to breathe and stuff. So I'll show you really quick the way that the roll one sits. If you notice, it's just above the belt here, and I can easily pull out either direction with either of my hands. That way, like I said, if this arm goes down, I can reach it with my left hand, vice versa. And then just where it sits it's literally the perfect spot to when you're sitting in a car, sitting at a restaurant or whatever. It just provides that lumbar support and actually makes it a lot more comfortable to wear. If you notice, the Spiritus pouch with the radio sits inside the cummerbund here. This works really well if you don't need to get access to your radio a lot. If your radio doesn't allow for voice commands, or you're constantly switching channels, I'd probably run the radio on the front of the vest in some way, shape, or form. But if you have this radio set up with the speaker mic, this has a push button on it. I can push it and hold it, give the radio a command to switch channel, and it'll go to whatever channel, so I never have to actually touch the radio itself. This works great. In my opinion, it's really comfortable, and it keeps everything slick on the sides. On your support side, it's not as important to be slick. It's more for comfort's sake, but on the drawing side, on your shooting side, it's important to be slick. That way, if you need to draw your gun, nothing is impeding it from coming out of the holster as you come up. So keep your shooting side slick. That way, if you need to get to your gun, you can. Like I said, with the tack reload here, this isn't a dangler off the side of the vest. And I like to have it here because it's the same motion to go back for my pistol mads as it is to go for this. It's just more deliberate to come up here, because I'm not always going to this, but it'll look something like this. If I'm up on the gun and I'm gonna do a tack reload, I can grab the tack reload, do what I have to do, restow the mag, and get back up on the gun, and it's a non-issue. All right, and the last thing I'll talk about is considerations to have when you're setting your vest up when it comes to rifles. If you notice, this is all pretty flat and slimline. It only comes off the vest maybe 1.5 to 2 inches, and no more than that. And that's because when you have your rifle, you have it slung, it's not going to be sticking super far out, making things weird. And then also, the front of the placard is slick. There's nothing on here that a sling or a seatbelt or anything is going to get caught on. The only potential snag points are the left side here, and then sort of the right side, but the sling really doesn't interact here, and a seatbelt typically doesn't interact here. So keeping the placard slick in the front for no snag hazards, and then same with the way your shoulders are, the speaker mic, how everything is set up. Try to set it up in a way where a sling isn't going to get caught on stuff. You can very quickly swim out of it, get up on the gun, swim into it. You can very quickly transition it around the back so it's out of your way if you need to do whatever with your hands, render aid, that sort of thing. And then again, having it set up so a seatbelt or something of that nature won't interfere, and if you need to take it off in a hurry, you can fling it off and it's not going to get caught on anything. So one last little consideration is, how is your belt set up in relation to how is your vest set up? I'm going to have another video out about my belt and how I have it set up, why I have it set up the way I have it, but having the two pieces of kit interact with each other and work in harmony so that you aren't struggling to get to anything. You need cuffs, you got cuffs here, you got cuffs here. Medical, you've got it on the back, and then everything is set up in a way that it's not interfering. So if I need to bend over, pick something up, I can do that. If I'm sitting, it's comfortable. If I need to draw my gun, go to work, I can do that, and my vest isn't impeding that. The positioning of everything matters, so take some time, think about how you have it set up, think about why you have it in the place you have it, and get it set up properly. That way, everything is where you need it, and when you need it, you know where to go. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and also if you have any topics you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like if you liked it, drop a dislike if you disliked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks.